So you're sitting there watching an action movie, and suddenly this sleek, aggressive muscle car tears across the screen. That unmistakable hood bird, those iconic T-tops, the aggressive front end that looks like it wants to eat the road. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Pontiac Firebird and Trans Am have been stealing scenes and burning rubber across Hollywood for over 5 decades. But here's the thing. Not all movie appearances are created equal. Some of these cars became legends. Others, well, they barely registered. Today we're ranking every major Pontiac Firebird and Trans Am movie appearance from worst to best. And trust me, number 1 is exactly what you think it is. But the journey to get there, that's where things get interesting. Hit that like button if you've ever dreamed of owning one of these beasts. Subscribe for more automotive film content, and let's burn some celluloid rubber. Number 10, An Eye for an Eye, 1981. Let's start with a Trans Am appearance so forgettable most people don't even know it exists. The 1981 version of An Eye for an Eye features Chuck Norris doing his usual Chuck Norris things. And yes, there's a 1973 Trans Am in this movie, but here's the problem. The car is basically furniture. It's there. It exists. Chuck probably drives it at some point, but that's about it. No memorable chases, no iconic moments, no personality whatsoever. This is what happens when you cast a Trans Am as an extra instead of a co-star. The car appears in a few scenes, usually parked or in brief driving shots. It's painted in that classic 70s brown that screams, "I'm trying not to be noticed," which is exactly the opposite of what a Trans Am should do. The filmmakers completely missed the point. You don't put a Trans Am in your movie to blend into the background. That's like hiring Arnold Schwarzenegger to play a librarian. Sure, you can do it, but why would you? The real tragedy here is the wasted potential. This is a 1973 model, one of the most visually striking Trans Ams ever made. Those aggressive lines, that massive hood bird, the shaker hood scoop, all of it reduced to set dressing. Even Chuck Norris's legendary roundhouse kicks couldn't save this Trans Am from obscurity. The car gets maybe 5 minutes of total screen time. No close-ups, no beauty shots, no moments where the engine roar makes your heart race. It's the automotive equivalent of hiring Beethoven to play chopsticks. What makes this even more frustrating is that 1981 was still prime muscle car movie territory. The second oil crisis had just ended. Americans were hungry for horsepower again. And this movie gives up a brown Trans Am sitting in a parking lot. The film itself is a revenge thriller. Chuck plays a cop whose partner gets killed. Standard stuff. The Trans Am could have been his weapon of choice, his mechanical avatar of vengeance. Instead, it's just transportation. Any car could have filled this role. A Toyota Corolla would have been equally memorable, which, when you're talking about a Trans Am, is the ultimate insult. The movie made about $8 million. The Trans Am's contribution to that success, 0. This is how you don't use an iconic muscle car in your film. Number 9, MCQ 1974, John Wayne in a cop movie with a Trans Am. In 1974, this should have been legendary. And yet, here we are at number 9. MCQ tried to reinvent Wayne as a modern action hero, Dirty Harry style. They gave him a badge, they gave him a gun, they gave him a 1973 Brewster Green Trans Am. And then they kind of forgot what to do with it. The car appears in the film's big chase sequence. It's actually a pretty solid scene. The Trans Am tears through Seattle streets, jumping hills and sliding around corners. For 1974, this was impressive stuff. But something's missing. The car never becomes a character. It's just a fast way to get from point A to point B. Wayne's character, Lon Makariru, is a Seattle cop who goes rogue after his partner's murder. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's basically the same plot as An Eye for an Eye. But at least this movie tries to do something with its Trans Am. The chase scene runs about 6 minutes. Not bad, the problem is context. This is John Wayne we're talking about, the man who defined the Western. Putting him behind the wheel of a muscle car should have been cinema magic. Instead, it feels forced, like watching your grandfather try to use TikTok. The Trans Am itself is gorgeous. That Brewster green paint, the honeycomb wheels, the 455 Super Duty engine that could launch this thing like a rocket. All the ingredients for greatness. But the chemistry just isn't there. Wayne looks uncomfortable behind the wheel. He handles the car like he's driving his ranch truck. There's no joy, no connection, no sense that this man and this machine belong together. The film's director, John Sturges, was a legend. He made The Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape. He knew how to film vehicles, but even he couldn't make this pairing work. The Trans Am feels like a studio mandate. Kids like muscle cars, put Wayne in a muscle car, profit. Except it didn't work that way. The movie barely broke even. Critics were mixed. And the Trans Am? It became a footnote, a piece of trivia for car nerds. Hey, remember when John Wayne drove a Trans Am? No, actually most people don't, because this movie failed to make it memorable. The chase scene has its moments. The Trans Am launches over Seattle's hills, it power slides through intersections, it even takes some serious damage, but it never transcends being just another car chase. In a different movie with a different star, this same Trans Am could have been iconic. Instead, it's number 9 on our list. Better than background furniture, not quite memorable enough to matter. Number 8, White Lightning, 1973. Before there was Bandit, there was Gator McCluskey, Burt Reynolds, bootlegging, and a 1971 Pontiac Firebird Formula 400. This should have been the movie that made the Firebird a legend. It certainly tried. White Lightning has all the elements. Reynolds plays a moonshiner out for revenge. The cops killed his brother. Now he's working undercover to bring down the corrupt sheriff and his weapon of choice. A brown Firebird that handles dirt roads like they're racetracks. The movie actually does a lot right. The car gets plenty of screen time, multiple chase scenes, lots of sliding through turns and jumping over hills. For 1973, this was innovative stuff. They were still figuring out how to film car action, and White Lightning pushed boundaries. But here's why it's only number 8. The Firebird never develops a personality. It's fast, it's capable, but it's not memorable. Part of the problem is the color. Brown. Again with the brown. Who keeps making these decisions? You have Burt Reynolds at peak charisma, you have a Firebird with a massive engine, and you paint it the color of mud? The chase scenes are solid though. Reynolds did a lot of his own driving. You can tell there's an authenticity to how he handles the car. He's not just steering, he's communicating with the machine. The Firebird responds to his inputs like a trained animal. The best scene comes about halfway through. Gator's being chased by federal agents. He takes the Firebird off-road, blazing through fields and forests. The car gets absolutely filthy, but it keeps going. This is a Firebird that works for a living, not a show pony, a workhorse. The movie made decent money, about $17 million, not bad for 1973, and it proved Reynolds could carry an action film. But the Firebird itself, it remained just transportation, a tool, a means to an end. Which is frustrating because you can see the potential. In several scenes, the camera lingers on the car, the hood scoops, the dual exhaust, the aggressive stance. The filmmakers knew they had something special. They just didn't quite know how to use it. There's a sequel, Gator, where Reynolds returns with a black Firebird. That one's slightly better, but White Lightning came first. And first doesn't always mean best. This is a competent movie with a competent car. Nothing more, nothing less. Reynolds would have to wait 4 more years to truly bond with a Pontiac. But we'll get to that. Number 7, Hooper, 1978. Now we're talking. Hooper takes everything that was almost right about Reynolds and Pontiacs and cranks it up to 11. This time, he's got a 1978 Trans Am. Black and gold, T-tops, and rocket boosters. Yes, you heard that right. Rocket boosters. Reynolds plays Sonny Hooper, Hollywood's greatest stuntman. He's getting old, his body's breaking down, but he's got one last stunt to pull off. A 325-foot jump over a collapsed bridge. In a rocket-powered Trans Am, the movie is essentially a love letter to stunt performers. But the real star? That modified Trans Am. They actually built this thing. It wasn't movie magic. They strapped a rocket engine to a Trans Am and launched it over a canyon in real life. The car gets plenty of screen time. We see it being built, we see it being tested, we see the fear in Reynolds' eyes as he prepares to pilot this death trap. This isn't just a car, it's a character. It represents everything about Hooper. Dangerous, excessive, slightly insane. The build-up to the big jump is masterful. The Trans Am sits there, black and gold paint gleaming. Those rocket tubes jutting out the back like chrome middle fingers to physics. You know this is a terrible idea. Hooper knows it's a terrible idea, but they're going to do it anyway. Because that's what stunt people do. The actual jump is spectacular. The Trans Am launches off the ramp, the rockets fire. For a moment, this 700 horsepower muscle car becomes a spacecraft. It soars through the air in slow motion, every rivet straining, every panel threatening to tear loose. Then it lands, hard. The suspension compresses, the frame twists, but it holds together, barely. This is a Trans Am pushed beyond its limits and surviving. It's the perfect metaphor for Hooper himself. What keeps this from ranking higher is screen time. The rocket Trans Am is memorable, but it's not in the movie enough. It appears in the third act, does its big stunt. Then, it's over. We needed more. More character development, more bonding between man and machine. Still, this is the movie that proved a Trans Am could be more than just a car. It could be a co-star. It could have its own arc. It could be the difference between life and death. Hooper made about $80 million, pretty good for a movie about stunt people. And that rocket Trans Am? It became a legend among gearheads. They still build replicas. 45 years later, people still want to recreate that impossible jump. That's the power of putting the right car in the right movie. Number 6, Rocky II, 1979. This is going to be controversial. Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion, driving a 1979 Trans Am, and it's one of the most perfect character moments in film history. Stick with me here. Rocky just beat Apollo Creed. He's got money for the first time in his life. So what does he buy? A black Trans Am with the full Screaming Chicken Hood decal. It's the most Philadelphia Italian thing ever put on film. The scene where Rocky buys the car is comedy gold. He walks into the dealership in his leather jacket and fedora, points at the Trans Am. How much? The salesman starts his pitch. Rocky cuts him off. I'll take it. Cash deal, no negotiation. This is a man who punches people for a living buying a car the same way. But here's where it gets brilliant. Rocky can't drive. He's never needed to. He's always walked or taken the bus. So he's sitting in this brand new Trans Am, engine idling, and he has no idea what to do. Adrian has to drive them home. It's humiliating. It's hilarious. It's deeply human. The Trans Am represents everything Rocky thinks success looks like. Big, loud, aggressive, American. But he's not ready for it. He's still the same guy from the neighborhood. The car is a costume that doesn't fit. Throughout the movie, the Trans Am appears in several scenes. Parked outside his house. Adrian driving them places. Rocky practicing in parking lots. It's always there, reminding us how much has changed and how much hasn't. The best scene comes when Rocky's money runs out. He's been spending like there's no tomorrow. Buying cars and watches and tiger jackets. Now, reality's setting in. He needs to sell the Trans Am. You can see it killing him. This car was his proof he'd made it. Now it's just another thing he can't afford, but Adrian stops him. They'll figure out the money. He can keep the car. It's a small moment, but it matters. The Trans Am isn't just transportation, it's his dignity. His proof that he's more than just a bum from Philadelphia. Stallone understood something most filmmakers miss. A car can tell you everything about a character. Rocky's Trans Am is gaudy, it's impractical, it's too much car for a guy who can't even drive, but it's also beautiful, powerful, American dream on wheels. Just like Rocky himself, the movie made $200 million. The Trans Am probably sold a few thousand units just from this exposure, but more importantly, it gave the car emotional weight. This wasn't just another muscle car in another movie. This was Rocky's Trans Am. That means something. Number 5, Cannonball Run, 1981. Speaking of controversial rankings, let me explain why Cannonball Run beats Rocky II. 2 words, ambulance scene. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Cannonball Run is the ultimate car movie carnival. Every star, every car, every ridiculous scenario, and right in the middle of it all, multiple Trans Ams tearing across America. The plot, if you can call it that, is simple. Illegal cross-country race. First one to California wins, no rules, no speed limits, no sanity. It's based on a real event, which makes it even crazier. Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise pilot a black Firebird Trans Am ambulance. Yes, an ambulance. They figured cops won't stop an ambulance. They're not wrong. This is peak 80s excess, and the Trans Am is right at home. The ambulance Trans Am gets the most screen time, but it's not alone. Terry Bradshaw and Mel Tillis drive a stock Trans Am. They disguise it as different cars throughout the race. It's simultaneously brilliant and ridiculous, like everything in this movie. But here's why this ranks so high. The Trans Ams have personality, the ambulance is crafty and rebellious, the chameleon car is sneaky and adaptable. These aren't just vehicles, they're characters in their own right. The best scene involves the ambulance Trans Am outrunning a police helicopter. Reynolds is driving, DeLuise is in the back with a fake patient. The speedometer climbs past 120, 130, 140. The Trans Am is screaming. The helicopter can't keep up, it's absurd, it's impossible. It's absolutely glorious. This is what happens when you stop taking cars seriously and start having fun with them. Throughout the race, both Trans Ams take incredible abuse. They jump, they slide, they crash through roadblocks, but they keep going. These are Trans Ams as pure ID. No responsibility, no consequences, just speed and chaos. The movie also understands something crucial. Trans Ams look best in motion, so they keep them moving, always. Even when they're parked, the engines are running, these cars are sharks. Stop moving, and they die. Jackie Chan is in this movie, as is Farrah Fawcett, and Roger Moore playing Roger Moore. But the Trans Ams hold their own against this star power. They're not overshadowed, they're integral. The film made over $70 million, it spawned sequels, it inspired countless imitators, and it cemented the Trans Am as the ultimate outlaw car. Not bad for a movie that's basically a 2-hour car commercial. But here's the thing, it doesn't feel like a commercial. It feels like a celebration of speed, of freedom, of American excess. The Trans Am isn't being sold to us, it's being shared with us. There's a difference. Number 4, Knight Rider, 1982 through 1986. I know. This is technically a TV show, but KITT deserves to be on this list, because KITT isn't just a Trans Am. KITT is the Trans Am, the ultimate evolution, the final form. For those too young to remember, Knight Rider gave us a 1982 Trans Am that could think, talk, and fight crime. It had artificial intelligence, turbo boost, a molecular bonded shell, and the most soothing voice in television history. David Hasselhoff played Michael Knight. But let's be honest, KITT was the star. This Trans Am had personality, opinions, a sense of humor. It was more human than most human characters on TV. The show ran for 4 seasons, 90 episodes. That's 90 hours of Trans Am action, more screen time than every movie on this list combined. And they used every second brilliantly. KITT could do everything, jump over buildings, drive on 2 wheels, withstand explosions. But the best moments were the quiet ones. Michael and KITT just talking. A man in his car, best friends, partners, family. The show understood something profound. We don't just drive our cars, we relate to them, we talk to them, we trust them with our lives. KITT was that. Relationship made literal. Every kid who watched Knight Rider wanted a Trans Am, not just any Trans Am. KITT. We wanted that scanner, that turbo boost button, that voice calling us Michael in slightly exasperated tones. The show sold millions in merchandise. Toys, lunchboxes, model cars, but more importantly, it sold a dream. The dream that your car could be more than transportation, it could be your partner, your protector, your friend. They've tried to remake Knight Rider multiple times. It never works, because they focus on the technology. The original understood it was about the relationship. KITT wasn't amazing because of the gadgets. KITT was amazing because it cared. The Trans Am design was perfect for this. Aggressive enough to be intimidating, sleek enough to be futuristic, black enough to be mysterious. Add that red scanner and you had the most recognizable car in the world. Even today, 40 years later, you can show someone a picture of KITT and they know immediately. That's not just a Trans Am, that's KITT. That's cultural impact you can't buy, you can't manufacture, you can only earn. And Knight Rider earned it by making us believe a Trans Am could be alive, could be a hero, could be our best friend. That's why it's number 4. Because KITT didn't just drive, KITT lived. Number 3, Blade Runner 2049. Here's where things get really interesting. You might not remember a Trans Am in Blade Runner 2049. That's because it's not obvious, but it's there, and it's brilliant. Ryan Gosling's character Kay drives a flying car, a spinner. It's all angular and futuristic, but look closer. The design language, the aggressive front end, the low, wide stance. It's a Trans Am, evolved, transformed, but still recognizably a Trans Am. The filmmakers have confirmed this. They specifically looked at classic muscle cars when designing Kay's spinner. The Trans Am's DNA is all over it, those air intakes, that pointed nose, the way it sits like it's about to pounce. This is what makes it genius. In a movie about what it means to be human, they gave us a car that questions what it means to be a car. Is it still a Trans Am if it flies? If it exists in 2049? If it's made of materials we haven't invented yet? Kay's spinner gets significant screen time. It's his home away from home, his escape pod, his only constant companion in a world that keeps shifting beneath him. Sound familiar? It should. It's the same relationship every Trans Am owner has with their car. The best scene comes when Kay is flying through the wasteland. Orange dust swirling, radiation crackling. The spinner cuts through it all like a blade. It's a Trans Am doing what Trans Ams do. Going where it shouldn't, surviving what it shouldn't, being more than it should. This ranking will be controversial. How can a flying car from the future rank higher than actual Trans Ams? Because this film understands something crucial. The Trans Am isn't just a car, it's an idea, freedom, rebellion, the refusal to accept limitations. By taking the Trans Am spirit and projecting it into the future, Blade Runner 2049 proves the car's immortality, civilizations will rise and fall, the world will change beyond recognition, but somewhere, somehow, there will always be a Trans Am. even if it flies, even if it's not called a Trans Am. The soul remains. This is the highest form of tribute, not just featuring the car, not just making it look cool, but understanding what it represents and carrying that forward. Forever. The movie made $259 million. It won Oscars, it redefined science fiction cinema, and hidden in plain sight, it gave us the ultimate Trans Am, one that transcends time, space, reality itself. That's why it's number 3. Because Blade Runner 2049 didn't just put a Trans Am in a movie, it put a Trans Am in our future, and made us believe it belongs there. Number 2. Mad Max 1979 and The Road Warrior 1981. Before we get to the obvious number 1, let's talk about the best Trans Am that almost nobody knows is a Trans Am. Mad Max's Pursuit Special. That's right, the last of the V8 Interceptors, the car that launched 1,000 apocalypse fantasies. It's built on an Australian Ford Falcon. But the design, pure Trans Am energy. George Miller has talked about this. When designing Max's car, they looked at American muscle, specifically the Trans Am's aggressive styling, those massive flares, the blower through the hood, the menacing black paint. It's a Trans Am filtered through Australian madness. And it works. My God, does it work. The Pursuit Special appears in both Mad Max and The Road Warrior, but it's in the first film where it truly shines. Max is still a cop, still trying to hold civilization together. The car represents order's last stand against chaos. Then everything goes to hell. Max's family is killed, the world is collapsing, and the Pursuit Special becomes something else. Vengeance on wheels, a mechanical manifestation of Max's rage. The way Miller films this car is poetry. Low angles that make it look monstrous, engine sounds that rumble like thunder, chase scenes that feel like warfare. This isn't just driving, it's combat. In The Road Warrior, the car is battle-scarred, patched together, running on fumes, just like Max. It's no longer pristine law enforcement, it's survival equipment, it's home, it's all Max has left. The final chase in Road Warrior is legendary. The Pursuit Special against an army of wasteland psychos. It takes impossible damage, keeps running, saves Max one last time before finally dying. It's heartbreaking. You don't mourn cars, but you mourn this one. Why rank this as a Trans Am? Because it captures the Trans Am spirit better than most actual Trans Ams. It's excessive, it's aggressive, it's American muscle. Filtered through global imagination, it proves the Trans Am's influence extends beyond borders, beyond brands, beyond reality. Max's Interceptor inspired decades of post-apocalyptic vehicles. Every Wasteland Warrior car owes a debt to this Trans Am that isn't technically a Trans Am. It created a new genre, apocalypse muscle. The films made hundreds of millions, launched careers, changed cinema. And at the center of it all, a car that channels pure Trans Am energy. Even if the badges say Ford, the heart says Pontiac. That's the power of great design. It transcends labels, borders, even apocalypses. The Pursuit Special is the Trans Am's spiritual cousin. Different country, different company, same soul, same refusal to go gentle into that good night. Number 1. Smokey and the Bandit, 1977. Was there ever any doubt? This isn't just the best Trans Am movie, this might be the best car movie, period. Everything before was practice, everything after was imitation. This is the one, the legend. The black and gold 1977 Trans Am Special Edition that defined cool for an entire generation. The plot is beautifully simple. Burt Reynolds has to bootleg Coors beer from Texas to Georgia in 28 hours. Jackie Gleason's Sheriff Buford T. Justice is in pursuit. Sally Field is along for the ride. That's it, that's all you need. Because the real star is that Trans Am. From the moment it appears on screen, you know you're watching something special. The black paint gleaming, the gold phoenix spreading its wings across the hood, the T-tops removed so Reynolds' cowboy hat fits. This isn't just a car, it's a statement. The chemistry between Reynolds and the Trans Am is perfect. He doesn't just drive it, he dances with it. Every slide, every jump, every impossible maneuver, it's a partnership, a romance. A beautiful four-wheeled ballet of destruction, the bridge jump, you know the one. The Trans Am launches over a broken bridge while Gleason watches helplessly. It's not the biggest jump, not the fastest, but it's the most perfect. Because it tells you everything about Bandit. He'd rather fly than stop. The film gives the Trans Am personality without making it talk. It's cocky in the way it sits, rebellious in how it moves, loyal in how it always comes through. This is a car with character, soul, heart, the CB radio scenes, Bandit talking to trucker friends while the Trans Am eats up highway. The car becomes part of the conversation, another good old boy raising hell and taking names. The engine note is a character unto itself, that 400 cubic inch V8 singing the song of its people. Director Hal Needham was a stuntman. He knew how to film cars. Every shot of the Trans Am is loving, worshipful, but never static. This car exists in motion. It's allergic to sitting still. The movie made $300 million on a $4 million budget. It was the second highest grossing film of 1977. Only Star Wars beat it. Think about that. A movie about beer running almost outgrossed space wizards. Trans Am sales went through the roof. Dealers couldn't keep them in stock. Everyone wanted to be Bandit. Everyone wanted that black and gold dream machine. GM actually sent Pontiac a thank you letter. But here's what really matters. Smokey and the Bandit made the Trans Am immortal. Every muscle car that came after was compared to this one. Every car chase tried to capture this energy. Every cool guy in a fast car was channeling Bandit. They've made documentaries about this car, written books. People restore Trans Ams to look exactly like the Bandit car. 46 years later, and we're still obsessed. Because Smokey and the Bandit understood something fundamental. A great car movie isn't about the car, it's about what the car represents. Freedom, rebellion, the open road, the middle finger to authority. The Trans Am in this movie isn't just transportation, it's America. Distilled into 700 horses and 4 wheels, that's why it's number 1. Not just on this list, but in our hearts, forever. When you think Trans Am, you think Smokey and the Bandit. They're inseparable, eternal, perfect. And that's our countdown. From forgotten background props to cultural icons, the Pontiac Firebird and Trans Am have had one hell of a run through Hollywood. Each appearance added something to the legend. Even the failures taught us what not to do. But it all comes back to Bandit, that black and gold special edition showing us that cars can be more than machines. They can be dreams. What's your favorite Firebird or Trans Am movie moment? Did we miss any that deserve recognition? Drop a comment below and let's argue about it. Because that's what car people do. If you enjoyed this trip through muscle car cinema, hit that like button. Subscribe for more automotive content, ring the bell so you never miss a video. Until next time, keep the hammer down and the chrome side up. This is Tryline, and we're 10-10 on the side.